Chapter 1654. The Energy Source of the Time House Formation. Lin Moyu and Luo Feiyu did not encounter any sand beasts on their way. According to Luo Feiyu's explanation, the number of sand beasts on the star where the time house is located is not high, and the chances of encountering them are low. Moreover, sand beasts have a strong sense of territory. If you encounter a sand beast, as long as you fly quickly and leave their territory, they generally will not pursue. Sand beasts lack intelligence and only have instincts, the instincts of wild beasts. Lin Moyu vaguely guessed why the human race issued orders to clear out the sand beasts. It is feared that if the number of sand beasts increases, it could lead to the resurrection of the once mighty yellow sand giant beast. Or perhaps the yellow sand giant beast was never truly killed. These yellow sands are its flesh and blood, and the sand beasts are more like parasites within its body. The sages of the human race definitely had the ability to completely annihilate the opponent, but why they didn't do so back then is worth pondering. At the level of the Beyond Realm, they would never do anything meaningless. Since they left it without completely killing it, there must be a reason. When Lin Moyu saw the time house, he had his answer. The time house was enveloped by a massive formation, with over 100 stone houses evenly distributed at various nodes of the formation. There was also a palace situated at the center of the formation, controlling the operation of the entire formation. As they approached the time house, Lin Moyu heard a sound similar to a heartbeat. At the same time, he sensed a force of vitality. The yellow sand giant beast was indeed not killed. Its heart was taken and used as the core of the formation, providing continuous energy for the time house. A mighty beyond realm yellow sand giant beast had its heart taken to serve as the core of a formation. One must admit, this is a rather tragic end. But it also reveals the harshness of the great world. Without sufficient strength, one will ultimately become dust, unable to live or die as they wish. Lin Moyu finally understood why sand beasts were born and why they needed to be eradicated. The Beyond Realm giant beast indeed has the potential to resurrect, as it was never truly dead. Luo Feiyu noticed Lin Moyu's strange state and asked,
"Junior brother, what's wrong?"
Lin Moyu looked at the time house, as if seeing a heart at the center of the formation.
"Senior brother Luo, did you hear a heartbeat?" "Heartbeat?"
Luo Feiyu listened carefully for a few seconds.
"No, I didn't hear anything. It seems that the Beyond Realm expert has done some special processing, and ordinary people can't hear it."
Lin Moyu understood that the reason he could hear the giant beast's heartbeat was because his soul was strong enough. Luo Feiyu's soul realm was not high enough, so he couldn't hear it. Suddenly, a figure flew over from the distant sky, landing on the formation of the time house, and shouted at the two,
"Get inside."
The person was Jianshin, whom they had just met. He looked even more serious than before, even a bit anxious. Luo Feiyu found it strange, and Lin Moyu glanced at the outside world, whispering,
"Let's go in first."
The two passed through the formation, and the inside and outside of the formation were like two different worlds. No sound from outside could penetrate inside. This formation not only altered the flow of time but also had strong defensive capabilities. Luo Feiyu remarked,
"His temper is a bit strange."
Lin Moyu looked through the formation at the outside world.
"No, he is saving us."
Luo Feiyu was puzzled. Lin Moyu whispered,
"They are coming."
As soon as he finished speaking, the ground shook violently, and sandstorms suddenly appeared, not just in one place, but in all directions. The sandstorms connected the sky and the earth, and in an instant, they surrounded the time house formation. The formation became an isolated island. Alarms sounded within the formation, and the doors of the time houses opened, with cultivators coming out from inside. Cultivators also flew out from the palace, looking at the sandstorms outside the formation. Lin Moyu frowned slightly, feeling that this formation was not simple. There were actually 5 divine sovereigns stationed here, which seemed a bit extravagant. 5 divine sovereigns plus Jianshin made a total of 6 divine sovereigns. There were also 20 divine king cultivators. Luo Feiyu asked in a low voice,
"What happened?"
Lin Moyu looked around.
Have you heard of beast tides?
Luo Feiyu was taken aback. He naturally knew about beast tides.
You mean sand beasts are going to attack the formation?
Lin Moyu nodded. At the center of the formation, beneath the palace, was the heart of the once yellow sand giant beast. The sand beasts in the sandstorms outside could be considered the offspring of the yellow sand giant beast. It seemed reasonable for the offspring to come to rescue their father. The divine sovereigns glanced at the divine kings within the formation and said in a low voice,
Stay here and don't come out.
With that, the 5 divine sovereigns flew out of the formation, standing side by side with Jian Shin. They seemed to be discussing something, but their voices were blocked by the formation, making it inaudible inside. However, Lin Moyu was an exception. The formation's isolation was ineffective against him, and he clearly heard the conversation of the divine sovereigns. In the sandstorms, numerous beast shadows appeared. One by one, sand beasts emerged, varying in size and strength. The number of sand beasts was astonishing, coming in overwhelming numbers. The powerful aura impacted the formation, and among them, there were at least 20 divine sovereign-level sand beasts. Luo Feiyu felt embarrassed, as he had just said that the number of sand beasts was not high, especially divine sovereign-level sand beasts, which were rare. Now, it seemed like he had slapped himself in the face. The light of the star was suddenly obscured, and a larger sand cloud appeared in the sky. The yellow sand in the starry sky was drawn in, forming a sand cloud. 3 even larger sand beasts appeared in the sand cloud, all elite-level sand beasts, each worth 100 divine city merit points. Elite-level sand beasts had a combat power of at least divine sovereign 5th stage, or even 6th stage. They were very difficult to deal with. Even the time house formation could not completely isolate the aura of the elite-level sand beasts. The powerful aura permeated through the formation, causing the faces of several divine kings to change drastically. Luo Feiyu's expression was serious.
3 elite-level sand beasts, 20 divine sovereign-level sand beasts, countless divine king-level sand beasts. Why are there so many sand beasts? They seem to be premeditated. But it doesn't matter, as long as the divine sovereigns can hold on for a while, help will soon arrive.
There was an army stationed outside the star system, and as long as the army moved, dealing with these sand beasts would not be a problem. Lin Moyu shook his head.
The sand beasts have destroyed the teleportation arrays, not only on this star but also on the other 6 planets. The army has indeed received the message, but it will take an hour for them to come to our aid.
An hour? Whether the 6 divine sovereigns could hold on for an hour was uncertain. Luo Feiyu asked in a low voice.
How do you know?
Lin Moyu did not hide it.
I heard the divine sovereigns say it.
Luo Feiyu did not doubt Lin Moyu's words. He instinctively chose to believe him, but others did not believe it. Lin Moyu's words were also heard by the 20 divine kings present, and someone immediately sneered.
A mere divine king 5th stage talking big. Just a divine king 5th stage, we can't hear it, but you can? Sand beasts destroying the teleportation arrays, what a joke. How could sand beasts know to destroy the teleportation arrays? Sand beasts have no intelligence, only instincts. How could they understand such things?
One after another, they questioned Lin Moyu. Among them were divine king 9th stage cultivators, as well as small divine sovereigns like Luo Feiyu. 1655 1655. Chapter 1655. This kid is too powerful. Facing the doubts of the crowd, Lin Moyu had no reaction. He was thinking about other issues. However, Luo Feiyu expressed his disagreement.
You guys don't understand anything. Just because you can't hear it doesn't mean others can't. If you don't believe me, go out and ask the divine sovereigns if this is really the case. Even if you don't dare go out, can't you read their expressions? Don't the divine sovereigns' faces look bad? Can't you tell the situation is serious from that?
Luo Feiyu's words immediately caused dissatisfaction among the others, and one by one they were about to attack Luo Feiyu. Suddenly, The divine sovereign's voices rang out within the formation.
Everyone enter the main hall. The teleportation array is damaged. Reinforcements will arrive in an hour.
The crowd was stunned, looking at Lin Moyu with strange expressions. Lin Moyu was not talking nonsense, he really did hear it. Lin Moyu ignored the others and said to Luo Feiyu,
Let's go to the main hall.
As he spoke, he took the lead and flew into the main hall. The main hall was empty, appearing to have nothing inside. Lin Moyu could sense that the main hall itself was a very powerful treasure, possessing extremely strong defensive capabilities. At the same time, the main hall seemed to have other functions as well. Standing in the hall, the heartbeat of the yellow sand giant beast became even clearer. Lin Moyu closed his eyes and sensed, quickly grasping the source of the heartbeat, which was directly below the main hall. His soul eye opened, and his soul power surged. In an instant, Lin Moyu saw different scenes. On the ground, walls, and ceiling of the main hall, in every corner, there were a large number of runes engraved. These runes formed a complex array. Lin Moyu recognized every single rune, and had even completely mastered them. This array, he quickly saw through the essence of the array and understood its functions. This main hall not only controlled the operation of the time formation, but also suppressed the heart of the yellow sand giant beast. In addition to control and suppression, the array had another function. That was to refine energy from the heart of the yellow sand giant beast, but no one knew exactly what was being refined. The heartbeat of the yellow sand giant beast became extremely rhythmic, as if transmitting some signal outward. This signal could only be heard by the sand beasts, and Lin Moyu could only vaguely sense a trace of it, unable to hear it clearly. However, Lin Moyu could imagine that today's beast tide was a self-rescue attempt by the yellow sand giant beast. It wanted to be revived, it wanted to escape and ascend, no longer wishing to be used as an array eye or a tool for refining energy.
The yellow sand giant beast has intelligence.
For the space beasts at the beyond realm level, possessing intelligence was very common. It would be stranger if they lacked intelligence. So it must have secretly planned this beast tide. In its plan, the chances of success for this beast tide were not low. There were 20 sand beasts at the divine sovereign level, plus 3 elite-level sand beasts equivalent to the 6th stage of the divine sovereign. The mere 6 human divine sovereigns could not possibly hold out for an hour. Among the 6 human divine sovereigns, the strongest was only at the 5th stage of the divine sovereign, at most able to contend with 1 elite-level sand beast. Lin Moyu finished his analysis and knew that today's events might cause some trouble. It was at this moment that he realized, apart from Luo Feiyu, everyone else was keeping their distance from him. They looked at him with fear and shock in their eyes.
What's wrong with them?
Lin Moyu found it very strange. Luo Feiyu said in a low voice,
Shitty, your gaze just now was quite frightening, even more frightening than the divine sovereigns.
In fact, he didn't say everything. Not only was Lin Moyu's gaze frightening, but his aura was also frightening. When the soul eye fully opened, waves of soul pressure were unconsciously released. These people were only at the divine king and small divine sovereign levels, so being struck by the soul pressure of the beyond realm was naturally oppressive and uncomfortable for them. The difference in their levels was too vast, and they could not resist it. So that was the reason Lin Moyu smiled wryly. Just now, he was focused on examining the array and completely neglected this matter. But it was not important. Boom! The ground shook violently. Roaring sounds transmitted into the main hall, and everyone looked outside. The battle had already begun outside the hall. The sand beasts were fighting against the divine sovereigns, while a large number of sand beasts were also attacking the time formation. Through the main hall, it could be seen that the sand beasts were swarming, filling the sky and the ground. Their eyes glowed red, extremely ferocious. The time formation shook violently, becoming more and more intense. The sand beasts were frantically attacking the formation, determined not to stop until they had broken through. Lin Moyu walked out of the main hall to see the real situation of the battle. The situation was not optimistic. The 6 divine sovereigns were tightly held back by 2 elite-level sand beasts, and another 6 divine, sovereign-level sand beasts. The remaining elite-level sand beast led 14 divine sovereign-level sand beasts and over 100,000 divine king-level sand beasts in a relentless bombardment against the time formation. The time formation was extremely powerful, with formidable defenses. The time stones provided the formation with the laws of time, altering the flow of time within a certain range to negate a large number of attacks. As the first level of laws, the laws of time could not only be used to aid in cultivation but also to combat enemies. All attacks, when reaching 10 meters away from the formation, had their time accelerated by hundreds of times. The distortion of time weakened the laws within the attacks, greatly reducing their power. Lin Moyu saw through this.
The laws of time, indeed formidable.
But no matter how powerful, the power of laws provided by the time stones was still limited, and the formation could not hold out for long. Not to mention an hour, it might not even last 10 minutes. Lin Moyu could see that the 6 divine sovereigns looked anxious. They were not anxious about the formation being breached or their own lives and deaths. Rather, they were anxious that once the formation was destroyed and the yellow sand giant beast revived, that would be the real big trouble. The revival of a beyond realm space beast within the human race's star domain. Even if beyond realm experts intervened to kill it, the losses suffered in the great battle would be incalculable. At least dozens of nearby star systems would be difficult to preserve. So the yellow sand giant beast absolutely could not be revived. But they had no way to stop it, leaving them anxious and helpless. What they could think of, Lin Moyu could also think of. Lin Moyu suddenly rushed out of the formation and appeared on the battlefield.
Go back, don't come to die. This is not a place you should come. Go back, return to the main hall.
Several divine sovereigns scolded him sternly. They meant well, not wanting Lin Moyu to die in vain. But Lin Moyu did not take any action, instead directly pointing out. Fusion spell. Time curse. Stellar level spell. Undead gaze. Red light scattered, enveloping a vast area. Lin Moyu did not control the range of the curse for the first time, instead trying to cover as large an area as possible. With a loud rumbling sound, more than half of the planet was enveloped in red light. Countless sand beasts were instantly shattered and crushed. In an instant, the sand beasts were wiped out. All sand beasts below the 7th stage of the Divine King were killed. The remaining sand beasts that had not reached the Divine Sovereign level also let out miserable cries, suffering immensely. In the sky, thousands of miles away, undead eyes appeared. The gray flames, devoid of emotion and filled with the aura of death, opened the undead eyes. It swept across the entire battlefield, and in an instant, the sand beasts at the 8th stage of the Divine King also died collectively. Even the souls of the Divine Sovereign level sand beasts were impacted, their offensive momentarily halted. With just 2 spells, more than half of the sand beasts were killed or injured. The Divine Sovereigns who were fighting couldn't help but be stunned. A thought emerging in their minds.
This kid is too powerful.
1656 1656. Chapter 1656. You all go back. Leave this to me. 2 spells directly took out half of the sand beasts. Although the ones killed were only sand beasts at the Divine King 7th and 8th stages, they were still extremely formidable. After all, in the eyes of others, Lin Moyu's own realm was only at the Divine King 5th stage. For a little Divine King 5th stage to possess such power was already remarkable and absolutely a genius. Lin Moyu's actions caused the sand beast's attacks to pause for at least 2 seconds. The time formation also got a chance to catch its breath. Lin Moyu felt at least 3 divine sovereign sand beasts locking onto his soul with their powerful souls. In front of him, yellow sand was flying everywhere, and 3 divine sovereign sand beasts pounced towards him at the same time. At the same time, a divine sovereign sand beast spewed a yellow light beam, directly blasting the undead gaze. The undead gaze immediately collapsed.
Be careful. Go back quickly.
Several human divine sovereigns shouted urgently, but they were tightly held back by their opponents and couldn't break free. However, Lin Moyu was only 1 step away from the time formation. He only needed to retreat one step to return to the time formation. Yet Lin Moyu remained motionless, showing no intention of retreating.
He's seeking death. It's impossible for a divine king to go against a divine sovereign. He's clearly a genius. How could he be so unwise?
The human divine sovereigns felt regretful. They didn't want Lin Moyu to perish. Although there were many geniuses among the human race, who would say no to more geniuses? For a genius like Lin Moyu to live well would naturally be the best. Jianshan roared, and his aura exploded. He instantly broke free from his opponent and appeared in front of Lin Moyu in a single step.
Army-breaking spear!
With a furious shout, a long spear appeared in his hand, and the spear danced into a whirlwind, thrusting out thousands of brilliant rays of light. The rays of light pierced through the sky like arrows, penetrating the yellow sand. The three divine sovereign sand beasts that were charging over retreated to avoid the dazzling light.
Go back!
Jianshan shouted angrily. Lin Moyu saw that there was a wound on his chest, and the injury was severe, deep enough to see the bone. A yellow law was raging in the wound, preventing it from healing. This was the law belonging to the sand beasts, possessing extremely strong corrosive power. Clearly, Jianshan had paid a price to come and save him.
Go back!
Jianshan shouted again, his voice now tinged with urgency. It seemed that, in the next second, he would personally throw Lin Moyu back. Lin Moyu flicked his finger, and a gray and white ray of light fell on Jianshan, causing his wound to rapidly begin healing. The power of death from the undead laws, with even stronger corrosive power, expelled the sand beast's laws. At the same time, the power of life healed Jianshan. A divine sovereign's recovery ability was already extremely strong, and in the blink of an eye, the wound had healed. Jianshan looked at Lin Moyu with slight surprise, not expecting that Lin Moyu would also be proficient in the laws of healing. But the more it was like this, the more he couldn't let him die. Before he could say anything else, Jianshan's expression changed, and a powerful soul locked onto him. The two of them were enveloped by a huge shadow, as an elite-level sand beast killed its way over. Facing an elite-level sand beast, even Jianshan, who was only at the Divine King 3rd stage, had no confidence. He could only do one thing now, which was to throw Lin Moyu back. As for himself, he couldn't care about that anymore. But before he could act, Lin Moyu had already made his move first. Space twisted, and undead flames appeared out of nowhere, burning fiercely. One powerful aura after another emerged, and the Legion rulers appeared on the scene, bringing their legions with them. The Death Knight Legion, the Skeletal Dragon Legion, their numbers were incalculable. They densely occupied every corner, almost occupying the entire battlefield in an instant. When it came to outnumbering the enemy, Lin Moyu had never lost. In the next second, the Legion rulers gathered the power of their respective legions above their heads into a river of laws, and launched a fatal strike towards the charging elite-level sand beast. The mighty forces collided, and terrifying energy erupted on the spot. Sand beasts below the divine sovereign realm were blown away, and nearly all 200 Legion rulers were blown back. Golden armor talismans flashed and intertwined in the void, with one set of golden armor overlapping another, becoming extremely thick and heavy. In this collision, many of the golden armor talismans were instantly shattered, with only about half remaining intact. The Legion rulers only had the strength of the Divine Sovereign 1st stage, far inferior to the elite-level Sand Beast. But they forcibly clashed head-on with the elite-level Sand Beast by relying on their numerical advantage and the defensive power of the golden armor talismans. The scene became bizarre once again. The sudden appearance of the massive Legion, each one looking extremely ferocious and terrifying, and their auras were all extremely powerful. Their numbers were even more astonishing, many times more than the Sand Beasts. Lin Moyu didn't pause, and with a thought, the Legion rulers charged out again. The rivers of laws appeared above their heads, and the Legion laws rolled down, with their respective legions collectively entering the rivers of laws. Seeking fresh flowers, at this moment, the Legion ruler's strength was enhanced to the peak of the Divine Sovereign 1st stage. Combined with their numerical advantage, they could at least hold back the elite-level sand beast for a period of time. As for the other sand beasts, Lin Moyu snapped his fingers again. Skeletal generals appeared out of thin air, their numbers equally astonishing. The skeletal generals that appeared had each fused with a golden armor talisman. As soon as they appeared, they swung their long swords, unleashing a myriad of sword chi that devoured any sand beast it touched. Almost in the blink of an eye, all the sand beasts on the scene were wiped out, except for the 20 divine sovereign sand beasts and the 3 elite-level sand beasts. The situation on the battlefield changed dramatically, the transformation happening too quickly. By the time they reacted, the battlefield had already become like this. The dead sand beasts turned into yellowish-brown crystals that fell to the ground. These were the sand beast crystals, proof of killing the sand beasts. The ground was covered with beautiful crystals, countless in number. With this wave of actions, Lin Moyu didn't know how many points he had earned. These sand beasts were all killed by Lin Moyu, so the points naturally fell to him. With the human emperor network present, no one else could snatch them away. In fact, by this point, the overall situation had been decided. The skeletal generals summoned by Lin Moyu combined with the legion rulers. Even if they couldn't defeat the divine sovereign and elite-level sand beasts, they could at least stall for a period of time. At this time, Lin Moyu heard the sound of a heartbeat resounding from the time formation, the heartbeat thundering like a roar, causing even the time formation to shake. Those who had taken refuge in the main hall flew out, their faces pale, as if they had experienced something terrifying. The human divine sovereigns also changed their expressions drastically.
Not good. The yellow sand giant beast wants to break through and suppress the formation.
The main hall at the center of the time formation not only had the ability to control the flow of time but was also the key to suppressing the yellow sand giant beast. But the formation needed someone to operate it, which was why there were always divine sovereigns stationed here to operate the main hall and suppress the yellow sand giant beast. Lin Moyu had seen the runes in the main hall and knew its function.
All seniors, you go back to the main hall and control the formation to suppress the yellow sand giant beast. Leave this place to me. I'll hold off the sand beasts.
The divine sovereigns all looked at Lin Moyu, their eyes uncertain, clearly asking,
Can you do it?
It was only Jianshin who spoke directly.
Then I'll leave it to you.
There was no other way to handle this matter. They had no choice. Whether Lin Moyu could do it or not, they could only choose to believe in him now. 1657, 1657. Chapter 1657. The Eyes of the Yellow Sand Giant Beast. The skeletal generals flew out, blocking the sand beasts for the divine sovereigns. Lin. The intervention of the skeletal generals gave the human divine sovereigns a chance to retreat. They quickly returned to the main hall to control the formation and suppress the heart of the yellow sand giant beast. Meanwhile, the skeletal generals launched a fierce attack on the divine sovereign-level sand beasts. Sword chi fell on the sand beasts but could not cause any significant damage. At most, it only scratched their skin. But the most important thing was that the skeletal generals, with their absolute numerical advantage, firmly surrounded the sand beasts. The strength of the skeletal generals was only at the minor divine sovereign level, still a distance away from the true divine sovereign level. Even with a huge numerical advantage, they could not be a match for the sand beasts. There was a significant gap between a true divine sovereign and a minor divine sovereign. Only some top-tier geniuses among the human race could possess divine sovereign-level combat power while still at the minor divine sovereign level. Only a genius among geniuses like Xiao Sheng could achieve the feat of slaying a divine sovereign while being at the minor divine sovereign level. Although the skeletal generals were strong, they were not geniuses and did not have the ability to fight across realms. In the past, no matter how many skeletal generals there were, they could not stop the divine sovereign-level sand beasts. A single attack from a sand beast could kill hundreds or thousands of skeletal generals. But now it was different. With the golden armor talismans, the defense of the skeletal generals had reached the divine sovereign level. Even a divine sovereign would need several attacks to break the golden armor talismans. The golden armor talismans of the skeletal generals overlapped and interlocked. Breaking one layer would reveal another. In this way, the defense of the skeletal generals was further strengthened. Even if they could not defeat the divine sovereigns, they could at least hold them off for a while. The sand beast spewed yellow sand, and each attack was enough to instantly kill a skeletal general, but they were all blocked by the golden armor talismans. The golden armor talismans kept shattering, but as one layer broke, a new layer would form. There were only 23 sand beasts left, 20 of which were at the divine sovereign level, with the highest being at the third stage of the divine sovereign, not as strong as Genshin. The 3 elite-level sand beasts all had combat power above the 5th stage of the divine sovereign, which was the most troublesome. Lin Moyu divided his forces, assigning 200 legion rulers into 3 groups to surround the 3 elite-level sand beasts. Outside the legion rulers, there were another 100,000 skeletal generals, completely sealing off the battlefield. Each of the 20 divine sovereign-level sand beasts also faced the siege of 100,000 skeletal generals. Lin Moyu deployed over 2 million skeletal generals. From a distance, it was impossible to see the specific situation inside the battlefield, only a mass of golden light. One could vaguely make out the golden armor. The sand beasts rampaged within the encirclement, attacking madly, and the golden armor kept shattering. But the golden armor talismans overlapped too much, making it impossible to completely break through in a short time. The skeletal generals dragged the sand beasts, preventing them from attacking the time formation. The heart of the yellow sand giant beast was still beating violently, struggling continuously. But with the divine sovereigns in control, the suppression power of the main hall was fully exerted, and with no external attacks on the time formation, the situation began to stabilize. Lin Moyu glanced back at the formation and whispered,
"Time to earn some divine city merit points."
He pointed his finger towards the sky. Stellar level spell. Summon Skeleton King. In an instant, the sky darkened, and gray undead flames began to burn fiercely, dominating the world. Within the flames, the skeleton throne appeared, with the Skeleton King sitting on it, exuding a majestic aura. The Skeleton King stood up, his bone cloak fluttering, and the skeleton throne transformed into a magnificent 2-handed bone sword, falling into the Skeleton King's hand. Lin Moyu cast a golden armor talisman, which fell onto the Skeleton King. With a hum, the Skeleton King was instantly clad in a layer of golden armor. Then, a mysterious aura rose from Lin Moyu's body. Origin spell. Strong Soldier. Strong Soldier, fusion rate 150% consumes soul power to enter the Strong Soldier state. In the Strong Soldier state, all damage dealt by summoned creatures is increased tenfold. The Strong Soldier state continuously consumes soul power, which can be replenished by killing enemies. In the Strong Soldier state, a portion of the obtained soul power can be absorbed and retained as one's own strength. However, external soul power contains impurities and is best refined and purified before absorption. The Strong Soldier spell increased the Skeleton King's damage tenfold. Originally at the 2nd stage of the Divine Sovereign, the Skeleton King's killing power now reached the 3rd stage of the Divine Sovereign. Combined with the God-slaying sword, it was sure to surprise. Lin Moyu had calculated that by activating the Strong Soldier spell alone, his soul could last at least 10 minutes. 10 minutes was enough to do a lot. The 10,000-meter-tall Skeleton King, carrying the aura of a divine sovereign and boundless undead flames, appeared in the world. The undead flames burned the heavens and the earth, and the Skeleton King locked onto a divine sovereign-level sand beast, his sword glowing. Spell. God-slaying. The God-slaying sword was the Skeleton King's strongest attack, ignoring the target's defense, slaying both the body and the soul. With a sharp roar, the divine sovereign-level sand beast collapsed. A bright, huge yellow crystal fell from the sky. The divine sovereign-level sand beast was instantly killed by the Skeleton King's sword.
10 divine city merit points earned.
Lin Moyu whispered, noting that compared to performing basic tasks in secret realms, these 10 divine city merit points were relatively easier to earn. Scanning the battlefield, the divine sovereign-level sand beasts all turned into divine city merit points in his eyes. However, He did not consider the elite-level sand beasts, as he estimated he could not kill them even if they stood still. The Skeleton King targeted the next sand beast, raising his bone sword to kill. The god-slaying sword had a cooldown period, but during that time, the Skeleton King would not be idle. The death of a divine sovereign-level sand beast seemed to trigger a switch. The heartbeat of the yellow sand giant beast began to accelerate rapidly, becoming more intense. The previously stabilized formation began to shake and tremble again. Lin Moyu frowned slightly.
Is this guy going all out?
The elite-level sand beasts seemed to receive an order and howled simultaneously. They spewed yellow beams of light, breaking through the encirclement of the Legion rulers and shattering the encirclement formed by the skeletal generals. After spewing the light beams, the aura of the elite-level sand beasts quickly weakened, dropping to the third stage of the divine sovereign in an instant. The elite-level sand beasts turned into ordinary divine sovereign-level sand beasts. Their bodies also shrank. Lin Moyu couldn't understand what they were doing, but he knew it was definitely not good and was related to the yellow sand giant beast. 2 seconds later, the elite-level sand beasts weakened again, their aura dropping to the first stage of the divine sovereign. At this time, the remaining divine sovereign-level sand beasts also howled and spewed light beams. The beams, carrying immense impact, broke through the skeletal generals and shot straight into the sky. As they spewed the beams, the aura of the sand beasts also weakened. Suddenly, Lin Moyu felt uneasy, and irregular energy fluctuations surged from the sand beasts.
They're going to self-destruct.
As the thought arose, Lin Moyu immediately tried to recall the skeletal generals. But the recall failed, as the surrounding space was locked by an unknown force, preventing the skeletal generals from returning.
It's the power of the yellow sand giant beast.
Lin Moyu's heart trembled, and he looked up at the sky. In the sky, a huge yellow eye appeared. The yellow eye was cold and indifferent, staring at him as if looking at a dead man. 1658 1658. Chapter 1658. The Skeleton King is instantly killed. When Lin Moyu saw the yellow eye, his heart skipped a beat. Lin.
This is the eye of the yellow sand giant beast. Not only did it leave behind its heart, but it also left behind its eye.
Just one glance was enough for Lin Moyu to see that the eye of the yellow sand giant beast was not an illusion but a real entity. The eye of the yellow sand giant beast swept across the heavens and the earth. The yellow sand on the planet seemed to freeze for a moment, and Lin Moyu felt as if he was trapped in a quagmire, making it extremely difficult to move. Not only was he having difficulty moving, but the skeleton generals, the Legion rulers, and even the Skeleton King were all trapped in the quagmire. A powerful force surged from all directions, firmly trapping them. This was not some abnormal status. It was simply a force blockade, and even spells that granted status immunity had no effect. The eye of a beyond realm giant beast was indeed this powerful. If it were to be revived, who knows what level it would reach. Perhaps just one glance could annihilate him. Lin Moyu gained a new understanding of the power of beyond realm experts. If the Divine Sovereign Realm was a leap from the Divine King Realm, then the Beyond Realm was a great leap from the Divine Sovereign Realm, and it was a very far leap. The energy fluctuations became increasingly chaotic, and the sand beasts were on the verge of self-destruction.
Move, move!
Lin Moyu's body surged with powerful soul energy. The soul eye opened, and his entire body was enveloped in purple light as the power of the soul began to interfere with reality. The soul bow appeared above his head, and soul energy was injected into it, condensing a purple arrow. A streak of purple light shot out, aiming at the eye of the yellow sand giant beast. A sharp cry echoed in his ears. The eye of the yellow sand giant beast contained its soul, but it was not a complete soul, only a part of it. The attack from the soul bow injured the soul. Lin Moyu felt a sudden lightness, and the blockade instantly disappeared. Seizing the opportunity, Lin Moyu took a step back, retreating into the formation. The skeleton generals and Legion rulers also retreated, not being recalled but standing outside the formation, enveloping the entire time formation. Layers of golden armor formed the first line of defense. The energy fluctuations reached their peak, and the self-destruction was imminent. From the moment the elite sand beast spewed light beams to now, less than 2 seconds had passed. Everything happened in an instant, and Lin Moyu had done his best. What happened next was up to fate. Boom! The sound of the explosion was isolated by the formation, but the power of the self-destruction could still be felt. Yellow sand soared into the sky, and countless grains of yellow sand were blasted into the sky by the explosion. The ground sank, revealing the true surface of the planet, which was slightly whitish rock. Lin. Without the cover of yellow sand, this planet should have been a grayish-white planet. When the force of the self-destruction impacted, and the golden armor bore the brunt, shattering with a loud crash. Layers of armor shattered under the impact of the explosion, followed by the undead legion behind the armor. Without the protection of the golden armor talismans, the skeleton generals were blown to pieces, and a large number of them died instantly. But in the next moment, the skeleton generals were reborn, once again enduring the explosion. The self-destruction of a divine sovereign was extremely terrifying. If a divine sovereign were to self-destruct in a star system, it would be enough to destroy the entire star system. Its power far exceeded that of a stellar explosion. Now, more than 20 divine sovereigns were self-destructing collectively, and the power was unimaginable. If it weren't for the planet being transformed by the power of the Beyond Realm, it would have been shattered long ago. The force of the explosion spread out from the planet, and even the yellow sand in the star system was scattered by the explosion. The explosion lasted for a minute, and the energy began to weaken and dissipate. The skeleton generals still surrounded the formation, and apart from the disappearance of the golden armor, nothing else seemed to have changed. As the master, Lin Moyu could clearly feel that almost every skeleton general had died 2 or 3 times. After being blown to pieces, they were revived by the undying necromancy spell. During the explosion, the skeleton generals acted as meat shields, blocking most of the impact for the time formation. This allowed the time formation to remain intact during the sand beast's self-destruction. Yellow sand flew in the air, but Lin Moyu did not feel any sense of relief. The eye of the yellow sand giant beast had already swept over again, and at this moment, a thin film appeared over its eye, like an additional layer of armor. Lin Moyu knew that it was prepared, and his soul bow would no longer be effective. The light beams previously spewed by the sand beasts converged in the air and then merged into the eye of the yellow sand giant beast. The aura of the eye rapidly strengthened, and countless grains of yellow sand gathered around it. First, a head grew, followed by a neck, body, and limbs. Finally, a sharp, long horn grew on its forehead, above the single eye, resembling a bull's horn. A gigantic one-horned giant beast appeared in the sky.
This is the yellow sand giant beast.
The eye of the yellow sand giant beast, using the power of the light beams, condensed a body from the yellow sand. It was said that the yellow sand originally belonged to the yellow sand giant beast, being its flesh and blood, and now it was reconstituting its body without any issues. However, Lin Moyu also knew that the yellow sand giant beast before him was not a complete form. It only had the shape of the yellow sand giant beast, and its power was far inferior to that of a beyond realm yellow sand giant beast. The yellow sand giant beast in the sky roared, and yellow light flickered on its horn, its aura growing stronger and stronger. In the blink of an eye, its aura had reached the 9th stage of the Divine Sovereign, just 1 step away from the peak of the Divine Sovereign. A river of laws appeared in the sky, and within the river of laws, yellow sand rolled, as if countless sandstorms were occurring. Since the yellow sand giant beast had condensed, its heart began to beat violently again, causing the main hall to shake and tremble. It was eager to escape the suppression and return to its body. As long as the heart returned, it could truly be revived. The continuous beating of the heart put immense pressure on the divine sovereigns. They fully controlled the formation, exerting suppression. They could not make a move, and the only one who could act was Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu's mouth twisted bitterly.
Looks like I have to go all out.
He stepped out of the formation and pointed his finger. Undying flames burned again, and the flames flew into the yellow sand, crackling and popping like water being poured into a hole. The skeleton throne and the skeleton king appeared one by one. The skeleton king had been blown to pieces in the sand beast's self-destruction. But it didn't matter. If it was blown to pieces, he would just summon another one. As soon as the skeleton king appeared, the yellow sand giant beast looked over. In its cold, merciless eye, there was a hint of disdain. A flash of yellow light passed over the horn, and a yellow lightning bolt streaked across. The skeleton king had no time to dodge and was struck directly. With a loud crash, the skeleton king was completely shattered, instantly killed, unable to withstand the attack.
Is the gap really this big?
Lin Moyu felt helpless. The power of a ninth-stage divine sovereign was simply too strong, and the skeleton king couldn't withstand it. If a single entity couldn't do it, then he would rely on numbers just like before. The legion rulers took the lead, and the river of laws flickered. Tens of thousands of death knights and tens of thousands of skeletal dragons flew out from the river of laws. The undead legion instantly filled all the space, and the yellow sand giant beast was heavily surrounded. Knowing that he couldn't win, Lin Moyu was very clear that all he could do now was delay. Delay until reinforcements arrived. The yellow sand giant beast roared, and the sharp horn on its head flashed with yellow light, its aura growing stronger and stronger. 1659, 1659. Chapter 1659. No matter what, we must hold on. Bright yellow lightning wreaked havoc among the undead legion, its power immense. Even with damage reduction by millions of times, it still exceeded the damage threshold. Lin. Facing the yellow lightning, the innate abilities lost their effect. Whether it was the Death Knights or the skeletal dragons, as long as they touched the bright yellow lightning, they would instantly collapse. The power of the lightning was too great to be blocked. Moreover, the most troublesome part was that the lightning would automatically seek the next target. After destroying one target, it would quickly move to the next. The lightning was extremely fast, comparable to the speed of light. Before the first target had even collapsed, the lightning had already attacked the next target. By the time the first target collapsed, the lightning had already passed through hundreds or thousands of targets. From a distance, a bright yellow chain appeared in the undead legion, formed by the afterimages of the lightning. In less than a second, over 10,000 undead were killed.
Such a strong attack. It seems to contain a trace of the power of rules, as expected of a Beyond Realm star beast.
Lin Moyu watched this scene, knowing he couldn't stop it. Now he could only rely on the advantage of numbers to delay. As for how long he could delay, he wasn't sure. He calculated the time. Reinforcements would arrive in another 40 minutes. No matter what, he had to hold on for those 40 minutes. The sharp horn of the yellow sand giant beast lit up again, and another lightning bolt flew out. 2 bolts of lightning wreaked havoc among the undead legion, doubling the killing speed. Lin Moyu had a bad premonition. If it were just 1 bolt of lightning, he wouldn't worry. He had enough undead legion for the opponent to kill. 2 bolts of lightning were also acceptable. But if there were a third, a fourth, no matter how many undead he had, it wouldn't be enough for the opponent to kill. Moreover, the yellow sand giant beast might have other means.
A Beyond Realm star beast, even just one eye is so terrifying. I can't sit and wait for death. I must turn passive into active. There's still 40 minutes. I must hold on.
Lin Moyu was very clear about his goal, to hold on for 40 minutes. But he also knew that with his combat power, it was impossible to fight against the yellow sand giant beast. Relying on the advantage of numbers might allow him to hold on, but it wasn't entirely safe. If the lightning continued to increase, no amount of undead would be enough. Once the number of undead was insufficient to surround the yellow sand giant beast, it would break through, and he would be in danger. He had to consider all possibilities. Lin Moyu felt a headache. Realizing this was an extremely difficult battle. The yellow sand giant beast had considerable intelligence and had made full preparations. If he hadn't suddenly intervened, it would have broken free by now. He had become a variable, but it seemed the yellow sand giant beast wouldn't give up easily. The battle had reached this point. It was a life and death struggle for the yellow sand giant beast as well. If it failed, once the human beyond realm experts arrived, it would have no chance to break free. Lin Moyu could imagine that both sides had reasons they couldn't afford to fail, and their wills were incredibly firm. Since that was the case, he could only fight to the end. He quickly formulated a battle plan in his mind, and the undying lich appeared beside him. Gray halos appeared under the feet of all the undead, giving them an extra chance to revive. In the few seconds Lin Moyu was thinking, the sharp horn of the yellow sand giant beast shot out another lightning bolt. 3 bolts of bright yellow lightning wreaked havoc among the undead legion, killing large numbers of undead every moment. The undead closest to the yellow sand giant beast had already died several times, exceeding the revival chances provided by the undying lich and the undying necromancer. They truly died, unable to revive again. The Death Knights and skeletal dragons bore the brunt, and their positions were quickly filled by others after they died. The undead legion still firmly surrounded the yellow sand giant beast, absolutely not allowing it to break through. Lin Moyu dispersed the skeleton generals, turning them back into 3 types of basic skeletons. Here, the combat power of the skeleton generals was of no use. Lin Moyu needed numbers, as many as possible. With a point of his finger, new skeletal dragons and death knights appeared in the void. The number of dead skeletal dragons and death knights had exceeded 500,000 and needed replenishment. The spell linkage was activated, and Lin Moyu only needed to summon once. As long as the summoning quota wasn't exhausted, the summoning would continue without his interference. However, the summoning speed couldn't keep up with the killing speed of the undead legion. It could only be said that summoning was better than not summoning. Using the undead legion as a meat shield to block the yellow sand giant beast was just the first step. Then Lin Moyu began the second step. He took out a piece of flesh, which came from the god sovereign of the 3 Silver clan. It was his only piece of god sovereign flesh. Although he knew it wouldn't be very useful, it was better than nothing. Locking onto the yellow sand giant beast, he pointed his finger, and red light spread. Fusion spell. Time curse. The curse was activated, but the yellow sand giant beast didn't feel much. At its soul level, the curse had little effect. Lin Moyu knew this, but he just wanted to add some damage, even if it was just a little. Then his finger glowed, and he activated another origin spell. Strong Soldier. Lin Moyu's aura surged, rapidly breaking through the god sovereign level, then the first stage, the second stage, and reaching the third stage. Breaking through to the third stage of the god sovereign was Lin Moyu's limit. He knew that if he dared to break through to the 4th stage, his soul would instantly collapse. The soul power of the 3rd stage of the god sovereign was injected into the soul bow, and a purple gold arrow condensed on the bow. The arrow emitted a powerful aura, and the strong soul pressure spread throughout the battlefield. Even the formation could hardly resist it. The god kings inside the formation were all trembling with fear. Lin Moyu's strength had long exceeded their imagination, completely beyond their understanding.
Is this really something a god king can do? A god king fighting a god sovereign, am I dreaming? How did he do it? How can he be so powerful? Unprecedented.
Lin Moyu was unaware of their exclamations. At this moment, all his energy and spirit were focused on the arrow. 1,661,660. Chapter 1660. The Terrifying Soul Arrow. Through the origin spell, Lin Moyu elevated his realm to the limit. With the soul realm of the Beyond Realm and the soul power of the 3rd stage of the God Sovereign, combined with the 10-fold damage amplification of the origin spell, even a 5th stage God Sovereign would be instantly killed by this arrow. But this was not enough. This was not the final form of the arrow. The power of faith surged out, as if it were free, pouring into the arrow. The most magical aspect of the power of faith is that it can amplify any spell, any law, any attack. When 10,000 units of the power of faith were poured in, the power of the soul arrow doubled. When 30,000 units of the power of faith were poured in, the power of the soul arrow increased by twofold. When all 60,000 units of the power of faith were poured in, the power of the soul arrow increased by threefold. The more the amplification, the more the power of faith required. 60,000 units of the power of faith at least tripled the strength of the soul arrow. And this was calculated on the basis of the amplification by the origin spell. The purple-gold soul arrow became even more dazzling. Looking at the soul arrow felt like staring directly at a star from a close distance. The golden patterns on it were extremely beautiful, yet exuded a murderous aura. But this was still not the end. Lin Moyu drew runes in mid-air. One complex high-level rune after another was drawn by him.
Soul-extinguishing rune.
A high-level rune recorded in the
rune language,
targeting the soul, capable of causing great damage to the soul. Can be used alone or attached to any soul attack. The rune flew into the soul arrow, and the golden patterns on the soul arrow seemed to come alive, exuding an even stronger murderous aura. In the grand formation, several god kings watching Lin Moyu screamed in agony. They clutched their heads, crying out in pain, their eyes tightly shut, blood flowing from their eyes. Their faces were filled with terror, not daring to look at Lin Moyu again.
What kind of arrow is this, so terrifying? Just looking at it feels like my soul is being pierced. This arrow is too terrifying. It can easily kill even a god sovereign. He is clearly only at the 5th stage of the god king. How can he condense such a terrifying arrow? He is using a soul treasure of the god sovereign realm, and he has also added the power of faith. Not only that, he has also added runes, and I see it's a high-level rune. To be able to wield a soul treasure of the God's sovereign realm, his soul must be at least of the 4th grade. As long as this guy doesn't die, achieving the God's sovereign realm is a piece of cake.
At this moment, all the god kings present were completely in awe of Lin Moyu, possessing a powerful soul, powerful spells, powerful treasures, and also mastering runes and an astonishing amount of the power of faith. Lin Moyu's performance was nearly perfect. Such a person had limitless potential in the future, far beyond their reach. The god kings present, and even the small god sovereigns, could not feel any jealousy towards Lin Moyu, because Lin Moyu had completely surpassed them, making it impossible for them to feel jealous. The powerful soul arrow was truly formed, and it could be said to be Lin Moyu's strongest strike. If the strike didn't work, Lin Moyu had no other options. The soul locked onto the yellow sand giant beast, which was firmly trapped by the undead legion's relentless and fearless attacks, unable to escape. The 5th bolt of lightning appeared, and 5 bolts of bright yellow lightning wreaked havoc together, killing countless undead legion members every second. But more undead legion members would immediately take their place, leaving no gaps. The yellow sand giant beast was covered with fearless skeletons. Although their attacks had no effect, they continued to attack, raining down like a storm.
Even if I can't kill you, I'll make you feel pain.
Lin Moyu pointed his finger, and the bone hell descended, enveloping the yellow sand giant beast. The bright yellow lightning wreaked havoc in the bone hell, piercing through it in less than half a second. But it didn't matter. Lin Moyu only needed a mark. The bone hell marked the yellow sand giant beast, and the soul followed, locking onto it. In this way, the soul bow's arrow would definitely hit. The yellow sand giant beast seemed to sense the threat, its eyes showing unease. The purple gold light pierced through the void, penetrating the yellow sand giant beast and stabbing into its soul. A heaven-shaking scream echoed throughout the entire star system. The flowing yellow sand in the star system suddenly paused. This arrow was too strong and fierce. Lin Moyu had used all his trump cards, making this arrow powerful enough to kill a 6th-stage god sovereign. As long as the soul was not at the beyond realm, it would be injured or even killed by this arrow. The yellow sand giant beast was once a beyond realm giant beast, and its soul was undoubtedly at the beyond realm. In its prime, it could completely ignore Lin Moyu's arrow. But not now. The current yellow sand giant beast was far from its former self, and its soul was just a remnant. This arrow caused it enough damage, making it extremely painful, and its aura instantly weakened. The bright yellow lightning stopped in midair, and 2 of the 5 bolts shattered on the spot. The remaining 3 bolts also stopped attacking, flickering in midair.
It's effective.
Lin Moyu was overjoyed.
Then let's do it again.
His aura instantly rose, breaking through to the 4th stage of the God Sovereign. Then his soul collapsed, the giant tree of talent swayed, and in the purple light, Lin Moyu's soul was instantly reconstituted, returning to its peak. He actively sought death once to replenish his soul power. Without hesitation, Lin Moyu once again used the origin spell, pulling himself back to the 3rd stage of the God Sovereign. Following the same method, the 2nd soul arrow appeared on the soul bow. Lin Moyu drew the soul extinguishing rune and attached it to the soul arrow. Unfortunately, this time there was no power of faith, so this arrow was not as powerful as the previous one. But similarly, the yellow sand giant beast was already injured and not as strong as before. The purple gold soul arrow once again pierced through the void, directly hitting the soul of the yellow sand giant beast. Another scream, and the yellow sand giant beast's aura became even weaker. 2 more bolts of the remaining 3 bolts of lightning shattered, leaving only 1. Lin Moyu took a deep breath. At this point, he had no way out, he had to kill to the end. Lin Moyu once again elevated his realm, actively self-destructing his soul. The talent activated again, reviving Lin Moyu for the 2nd time. Since refining the sapling of the undying tree, he had gained an extra chance to revive. He could revive twice every 30 seconds, and after the last revival, the talent would reset, giving him 2 more chances to revive. The ability to revive was generally only used in desperate situations. But now, to repel the yellow sand giant beast, Lin Moyu used it decisively. He was really fighting with all his might. In the origin spell, Lin Moyu's aura once again rose to the 3rd stage of the God Sovereign. The soul bow recondensed the soul arrow. The yellow sand giant beast's eye pierced through the layers of the undead legion. Seeing Lin Moyu, its eye was filled with anger and hatred. But so what? Lin Moyu didn't care at all. The soul arrow formed on the soul bow, and the yellow sand giant beast let out a furious roar. All the yellow sand on the planet surged up, and the entire planet was shrouded in a sandstorm. The yellow sand giant beast exploded, and one eye flew into the sandstorm and disappeared.
Escaped? You can't escape.
The soul arrow flashed with purple light and disappeared into the void. 1661, 1661.